Okay, my dear friends, hope you all are doing really well. Please confirm me on the chat box if I am audible and visible clearly or not. Then we will quickly start with the session. Yes, let me just confirm if I am audible and visible clearly or not. Yes. Okay, my dear friends, hope you all are doing really well. Please confirm me on the chat box if I am audible and visible. Okay, I can see that I am audible and visible clearly. Thank you so much for the confirmation. Okay, so my dear friends, very good evening. Hope you all are doing really well. So we have met today to discuss in detail about ACCA AAA paper. In this video, we are going to discuss in detail that who should choose ACCA AAA as their optional paper, who should prepare for AAA subject, okay, what are the sources through which you can prepare for AAA subject, about the subject in detail, that is we are going to understand about the objective of the subject, what are the sources that are available to you, what I am going to offer you to prepare for this subject, and how you could score good marks in this particular subject. So we are going to cover everything in this particular video. So it is important that you view this video, you watch this video till the very end, and if you like this video, please feel free to like this video, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to this channel for more content on ACCA, AA, AAA and law. My dear friends, my name is CS Supreet Agrawal. I'm an ex-EY India, ex-KPMG Bahrain and an India Book of Records holder. And my friends, I teach for ACCA, AA, AAA and law subjects. Okay, so whatever your queries are for any particular subject of ACCA, my team will be there to help you out, and for these three particular subjects, which is AA, AAA and law, I will personally help you and guide you. Okay, so whatever your questions are, please feel free to post it on the chat box and I would be happy to answer it. But what is going to be the flow? So first thing that we are going to do is we are going to understand the subject in detail, that what is AAA, okay, what it demands from you, what it expects from you, how you should prepare for AAA, everything. Okay, once we complete that, then we are going to go into the detailed discussion of who should select AAA as their optional paper, and then we are going to go in detail about how you should prepare for it and the batch details that I am going to launch for March 2026. Okay, so my friends, let's first discuss about this particular subject, which is Advanced Audit and Assurance, which is AAA. And my friends, we are going to cover the INT syllabus, which is the international syllabus, not the UK version. Okay, so we are going to cover the INT syllabus, international syllabus. Okay, now what is going to be the objective? What is going to be the objective of this particular subject? Let's discuss about that. So analyze, evaluate and conclude. That is, it's not just remembering the concept and just putting it out in the answer sheet. No, what it expects from you is to analyze, evaluate and conclude also. So a lot of scenarios would be there where you will be asked to make your own judgment also, and that is going to be very important for you as a student. Okay, on the assurance engagement and other audit and assurance issues. My friends, do you know about assurance engagement? What are assurance engagement? I am assuming that while studying AAA, you might be knowing about it from your AA knowledge. Just in case if you don't, do not worry. Our first lecture is the basics of audit. Okay, and in that particular lecture, we are going to cover everything that you might have missed in AA, and even if you have not studied AA, that is not an issue. We are going to cover everything from starting so that you get the good grasp over the subject and you are able to understand each and every concept in detail and prepare for the examination. Okay, now in the context of best practices and current developments also, so there is a particular chapter of current developments, what are the current ongoing issues and what are the current exposure drafts that are there in the market. So we are going to discuss about each one of them. Okay, now there's a big recommendation over here. What is the recommendation? So the recommendation is that whenever you are preparing for AAA as a subject, okay, whenever you are preparing for AAA as a subject, you should either prepare for it along with SBR, okay, of your professional level, or after SBR immediately you should appear for AAA. That is, if you are appearing for SBR, then you should place AAA either with SBR or immediately after the SBR. Now why I am saying that? Because what happens is that whenever we discuss about AAA as a subject, whenever you try to answer any particular question of this particular subject, you will always see that there might be some references to your IFRS and IAS, okay, which is definitely covered in SBR syllabus. So whenever you answer for AAA questions, you might be requiring some reference from your SBR syllabus also, FR syllabus also, and that is why it is recommended that if you prepare for AAA, then you should appear for it either with SBR or immediately after SBR paper. Okay, Now my friends, similar recommendation goes for AA subject also. That is, whenever you are preparing for AA as a subject, what you should do, you should either prepare for AA along with FR or immediately after FR. Okay, but there's a very good news for all of you over here, which is that as part of our offerings, we are going to offer you complimentary IFRS brush-up lectures where you will be able to revise all the IFRS and IAS required to answer the questions for AAA, and that is going to be completely free from our end. That is going to be complimentary from our end, so that your preparation goes really well. And just in case if you have little understanding or you are not having particular understanding about any concept of SBR or FR, then you need not worry, we will be offering you the revision lectures also. Okay, so these revision lectures would be on YouTube or what, so we will be offering you on the app only, similar to what we are going to offer for AAA. We are going to offer you for FR and SBR revision lectures also. Okay, now AAA questions will be based on IFRS standards, and hence it is recommended to study SBR either before or with AAA. Okay, I hope this is clear. I hope this is clear. I hope this is clear. Any questions so far? If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Okay, now let's talk about the exam format. Let's talk about the exam format. So my dear friends, when we talk about the exam format, so exam format is going to be of 3 hours 15 minutes. Okay, 2 sections are going to be there. All questions are compulsory, that is there are no choices. Okay, these 2 sections are divided into section A and section B. No section C? Yes, no section C. Okay, section A. Section A is going to be a 50 marks case study question broken down into several requirements. Generally, this particular question is asked from the planning stage, where the questions particularly on identifying the operational risk, identifying the audit risk, some of the parameters that might be required as part of the planning. Plus, some questions might be individual questions also, like a question on money laundering, like a question on prospective financial statements, such individual topics. Okay, then section B. There would be 2 questions of 25 marks each. That is, first question in section A is of 50 marks and section B is of 25 marks of 2 questions. Okay, 2 questions of 25 marks, that is total 50 marks again, total 100 marks paper. Okay, now this, out of these 2 questions, one question generally belongs to the review, completion and reporting stage. That is where we will talk about ISA 550, ISA 560, ISA 570, ISA 580, like subsequent events, going concern, written representations. Okay, even if you don't understand these terms, do not worry, we will be covering everything in our regular classes. Okay, now when we talk about reporting stage, that majorly talks about ISA 700 series, where we talk about that what could be the auditor's report, what could be certain contents, what could be certain reporting requirements in the auditor's report. Okay, so that is going to be very important. My dear friends, before I tell you anything further, I would like to make you understand one thing very clear, which is audit is assumed and presumed as a theoretical subject, right? But my dear friends, I would like to tell you that audit is a very practical subject, and I'll tell you my reason also. Okay, it's not just something that you need to follow, but try to understand it. Okay, if I talk to you about any of the auditing requirements, okay, and if I tell you that in this particular scenario auditor needs to do this, okay, do you think auditor has any choice over there? No, there's no choice. There's no choice that is given to the auditors. Okay, there's no choice that is given to the auditor. What auditor needs to do is auditor needs to understand everything and follow everything by the book. And therefore I say that audit is one of the most practical subjects written in the most theoretical manner. That is, even if the way or the technique of studying this particular subject, audit, be it AA, be it AAA, is a little theoretical. But whenever you discuss about any of the parameters, any of the judgments that an auditor needs to take, that is always very practical, and therefore you should remember this thing very core, that is, audit is one of the most practical subjects written in the most theoretical manner. Okay, I hope this is clear. Now, what is this professional skills? So if you have appeared for any of your professional level papers, you might already be aware about it. Just in case if you are not aware about this, let me tell you, there are these 4 skills that you need to demonstrate. Okay, in section A, 10 marks is of professional skills. Okay, and in section B again 10 marks, which is written as 5 into 2, that is in 2 questions 5 marks each. Okay, is of professional skills. I hope this is clear. I hope this is clear. Yes. Now, so what are these 4 skills? Analysis and evaluation, that is whether you have analyzed the data that is given as part of the questions appropriately or not, whether you have evaluated all the scenarios or not. Commercial acumen, whatever responses you have given, whether that are making business sense, commercial business sense or not. Communication, whether you have articulated your ideas, whether you have presented your ideas, whether you have communicated in your answers appropriately and with clarity or not. And then professional skepticism and professional judgment. Professional skepticism and professional judgment as in whether you have raised the right questions or not, and whether you have taken the appropriate and rationalized judgments or not. Okay, can you make separate headings for these in your answers? No. Whenever you answer, your answers would be evaluated against this criteria to form the opinion whether you have included these things in your answers or not, and that is a very beautiful way of analyzing this, and that makes this subject very, very interesting also. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Now let's talk about some strategy to step up from AA to AAA. Step up from AA to AAA, because what happens is a lot of you might have studied AA, right, and some of you might have missed it also, but both of you do not need to worry, because I am going to help you with everything that is going to be there from the part of AA also. If required, I would also be helping you with the complementary AA lectures also, so that you do not need to worry about it. Okay, now solid technical knowledge is required. When I say solid technical knowledge is required, that is you should be aware about what are the auditor's responses required, how an auditor should respond to various situations, that you should be aware about. Okay, then application of the technical knowledge to the scenario, that is now that you are in AAA, you do not just need to tell us that what is the reference to this in ISS, but you also need to apply it. You need to apply that particular knowledge in the given case also, because every question that is going to be asked is a case study or a case scenario question. Then professional skills marks needs to be evaluated here, and syllabus differences are there between AA and AAA. For example, there are certain standards like opening balances, okay, that is made part of only AAA syllabus, not AA syllabus. Okay, so you need to understand that what syllabus, what part of the syllabus is applicable only for AAA and what part of the syllabus is taken from AA. For example, if we talk about prospective financial information, if we talk about due diligence, if we talk about review engagement, then those are not made particular part of AA syllabus, but those are made part of AAA syllabus. So I have the clear understanding, and believe me, when you study from me, you are going to get the clarity over how you need to prepare, and you will be getting the notes also for all subjects, so you do not need to worry about it. But to get the best details, please watch this video till the end. Okay, now exam format and style. See, in case of AA, there used to be MCQs also, right? 30% MCQ, 70% descriptive. This one is particularly descriptive, 100 marks descriptive. Okay, so that is why there's a syllabus change also. So AA focuses purely on levels 1 and 2, while AAA is primarily focused on level 2 and 3. What is this level 1, 2, 3? So let's read it here. Okay, these are intellectual levels given by ACCA body only. Level 1, knowledge and comprehension, whether you are aware about it or not, whether you have the knowledge of it or not. Level 2 is application and analysis, whether you are able to apply it or not. And level 3, synthesis and evaluation, that is whether you are able to evaluate it against various situations and whether you are able to make the judgment and communicate it well or not. Okay, so ACCA AA paper used to focus on level 1 and 2, that is knowledge and application, whereas AAA paper focuses on level 2 and 3, which is application, synthesis and evaluation, whether you are able to evaluate it to different criteria or not, and that makes this subject very, very different also. I hope this is clear. I hope this is clear. I hope this is clear. Okay, now an ability to have an independent opinion backed by reasoned judgment, that is you should have the ability to frame your own independent opinion, but that opinion should be framed by judgments also, relevant rationalized judgments also. I hope this is very, very clear. I hope this is very, very clear. Just in case if you have any questions, please feel free to put on the chat box. I would be happy to answer it. Okay, in the meantime, I am moving forward. Just in case if you have any questions, please feel free to put it on the chat box. Okay, my friends, I have also mentioned my Telegram channel, my YouTube channel, my Instagram channel, the contact number, the WhatsApp number, everything in the description box. So if you want to reach out to me for any further details, please feel free to reach out to me. I would be happy to answer all of your queries. Okay, now let's talk about the syllabus. Okay, let's talk about the syllabus. So syllabus is divided into multiple sections. Section 1 is of regulatory environment. Section 1 is of what? Regulatory environment. Okay, section 2 is of quality management. Then section 3 is of professional and ethical considerations. Then planning and conducting an audit of historical financial information. Then completion, review and reporting, and finally other assignments. Then there are certain extra sections which are current issues and developments, professional skills, employability and technology skills, but these are something that you cannot directly prepare for. Okay, Now let's discuss about these particular syllabus items. Okay, when I talk about the regulatory environment, so this majorly talks about what? This majorly talks about the regulatory frameworks like the IFAC discussion, right? Various types of organizations that are there. Then we discuss about money laundering. We discuss about laws and regulations, that is ISA 240, 250, all of that. Okay. When I come to the discussion of professional and ethical consideration, we talk about code of ethics for professional accountants, the 5 fundamental principles, the 5 threads, right? All of that. Then fraud and error and professional liability. Professional liability, those insurance discussion that we do, right? What is the capping on the liability? Everything we discuss about here. Then in quality management, we discuss about ISA 220, ISQM 1, ISQM 2, where we talk about the quality management. Okay, that is how a particular firm, how a particular engagement, that is the audit assignment, should maintain quality. Okay, so we are going to discuss about all of that, quality management. Then we are also going to discuss about the auditor's appointment, that is, are auditors allowed to advertise or not? Can auditors respond to tender or not? What is the auditor appointment process followed by different levels of companies? All of that we are going to discuss over there. Okay, then professional appointments. Then planning and conducting an audit of financial statements. Here we are going to discuss about ISA 300 series majorly. Okay, where we talk about how do you plan for an audit. We talk about where and how do we need to identify the risk, how do we need to assess the risk, how do we need to evaluate the risk, how do we need to respond to the assessed risk. Okay, so planning, materiality and assessing the risk of material misstatement. We also talk about audit materiality over here. Then evidence and testing consideration, that is how do you test different items, how do you obtain the evidences, and how do you test. So we are also going to discuss about ISA 500 series over there. What are the different audit procedures, how do you need to evaluate different audit evidences, all of that. Okay, then audit procedures and obtaining evidences. So here we are going to discuss about the assertion based testing, that how do you test different items against certain criteria. Okay, and we are also going to discuss about using the work of others and group audits over there. This chapter is going to be a little new chapter which you might not be having the base from AA, but this will require a lot of knowledge from your SBR syllabus. Okay, now using the work of others, as in if you appoint auditors experts, management experts, or you use the work of internal auditor, then how do you need to use it for your work? Okay, that is something that is very, very important. Now completion, review and reporting. So here we will talk about how do you close the audit, like subsequent event analysis, going concern analysis, written representation. Then how do you need to report, so what kind of consideration you need to do under ISS 700 series, everything we are going to discuss about it. What could be the title, what could be different paragraphs that might be required in the auditor's report. We are going to discuss everything here. Okay, so subsequent events and going concern, completion and final review, auditor's report, reports to those charged with governance and management, where we talk about the communication on internal controls and everything. Then other assignments. Now these are assignments which are very, very specific, like we discussed about due diligence, prospective financial information, right, review engagements, all of that. So audit related and assurance services, specific assignments, audit of performance information, predetermined objectives in public sector, reporting on other assignments, the assurance of sustainability information. Now this is also a little new topic, so might be little relevant for your examination also. So we will study everything very, very clearly. Then there are current issues and development, professional skills that we already discussed about, and employability and technological skills. So we are going to prepare for it in summary over here. Okay, now useful tips from ACC examining team. My friends, why I am covering all of that? Because see, what happens is, before you start preparing for any particular subject, okay, what you should have is, you should have a clear understanding about what that examination is, what that paper is, what that particular paper is going to demand from you, what that particular exam is going to demand from you. So if you have any questions, okay, let's assume that you are a say fresh chartered accountant and you want to pursue ACCA, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. You can reach out to me on my Telegram channel or my Instagram account or on my WhatsApp number also, which is mentioned in the description. No worries on that. Okay, now useful tips from ACC examining team. So read the question carefully and be familiar with different types of questions. That is, you need to practice a lot of questions and be familiar with different types of questions what could be asked. You know, one of my students made this mistake in one of the mock test. Okay, and thankfully not in the main test but in the mock test. Okay, what he did is that the question was asked to identify the businesses, but he identified the audit risk. Okay, now he did the particular evaluation, he did everything correctly. Only thing was he misread the answer, he misread the question, he misread the requirements of the question. Now this becomes very, very important for us to understand that whether we need to make this mistake or whether we will be correcting it into the mock test only. So I would request that you need to appear for the mock test. Our we going to offer you mock test? Yes, we are going to offer you total 6 mock test. Okay, 3 block wise mock test, 3 full syllabus mock test, for the particular purpose of making you prepare for your examination. Okay, I will be discussing everything about the batch details at the later stage. Okay, now give specific answers rather than generalized ones. What happens is a lot of students makes this mistake that they write auditor will verify the physical asset. Okay, now this is not a particular answer. What auditor will verify? Auditor will verify the supporting documents. That kind of answers are not expected in AAA level. At AAA level, what you need to do is you need to be very specific. That auditor will verify the invoice and will test for the invoice date to identify whether it is booked in the current period or not. Now this is a very complete answer, right? I'll repeat. Auditor will obtain the invoice and will check whether the invoice date is booked in the correct year or not using the cutoff principle. Okay. Now refer examinable documents for your exam. What are these examinable documents? What happens is every time there's an examinable document, okay, which means that what all contents are covered. For example, I told you that opening balances are not covered as part of your AA syllabus. Where is it written? It is written in the examinable documents, and that is going to be a game changer for you, because one of my students made this mistake that they assume that every standard is covered in AA as well as AAA. So they studied every standard, but then I tested them under the exam condition in my mock test, and I realized that this person has studied the standards which are covered as part of AAA only and not of AA. So I particularly asked him, and then we corrected that mistake. Okay. Now ensure that the proposed audit procedures meet the assertion being tested. What happens is, a lot of times you write the audit procedure. The question is on writing the audit procedure for testing a particular item of financial statements. You have written your procedures also. Only concern is that when you have written your procedures, what has happened is you have written the random procedures instead of giving a flow of the procedures using the assertion based testing. What you have done is you have particularly mentioned the procedures that you felt like, okay, and that is why a lot of assertions might not be tested. So that is not a complete answer, and that is very important. See, you need to understand over here that you do not need to mention in such a way that for 5 marks I will mention 5 points. No, you have to complete your answer. And when I say you have to complete your answer, what do I mean? You have to do what? You have to address every particular assertion that is there. Okay. Now, don't just list the issues, but also explain why you think it is an issue. What happens is, whenever there is a significant risk equation particularly, okay, students end up writing that this is a significant risk. That is not a complete answer. The complete answer is, why do you think that it is a significant risk? That is very important. Then keep track on time and try not to overrun too much. What happens is, when you solve a 50 marks case study, generally the appropriate time is roughly 90 minutes. Okay. What if you are spending 100 minutes? It is fine if you can recover that time in another question, but what if you can't? So what you should do is, you should always clock your answers, that whenever you are writing the answer, you should always clock it, that whether it is matching the appropriate timeline limit or not. If not, then you should correct it via multiple mock tests. Revise, practice, refer examiner report, and review your performance. This is very important to refer various documents. Do I help you do this? Yes, I will be creating a lot of videos, and for the students who will be enrolling in my batch, I would particularly be joining with you on a one-to-one call, where I would be guiding you on how to review your answers, how to review your performance, and how do you improve it. Okay, I hope this is clear. Now if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Just in case if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know before moving further. Yes, anybody? Any questions? Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Now we are going to discuss about the technical articles. Are technical articles important for your examination? Yes, my dear friends, they are important, and there's a specific trick of preparing for it, and we will be discussing it during our regular lectures. Okay, but I have given you a list of all the technical topics that might be required for regulatory environment, professional and ethical considerations, quality management, planning and conducting an audit of historical financial statements, other assignments, completion, review and reporting. So I have given you a technical article list, and you can cover it from here. Will I help you cover it? Yes, I will also help you cover it. I'll give you all the tricks that you can follow. Okay, now what are the pass percentages? So my friends, see, as of now, if I tell you about June 25, the pass percentage was 40%, March 25 39%, December 24 39%, September 24 38%, June 24 37%. So on an average, the passing percentage is roughly 35 to 40%. Okay, is that a good passing percentage? Yes, my dear friends. But our result going to be 35-40%? No, it is going to be minimum 70 to 80%, my dear friends. So please try to understand this, that we have to cover everything. We have to prepare to the best of our capabilities, to the best of your capabilities, to the best of my capabilities also. Okay, yes. Now answering the question, this is something that is going to be very new for you. Why do I say that? See, what happens is, whenever there is a question, okay, at the end of the question there is a word that determines how your answer should be. Okay, and there are different types of words that are used. Say analyze is very different from evaluate, then it is very different from summarize. Okay, so what you need to understand is that whenever you answer any question, you have to give due importance to the keyword that is asked over there, and accordingly you need to frame your answers. Say outline the importance, explain the importance, and conclude. These three have different requirements, and therefore the answer would have to be customized. Otherwise, if you have just a structured answer which is for every particular situation, which you use for every particular situation, then it is not going to fetch you good marks in the examination. So analyze, apply, assess, calculate, comment, compare, conclude, criticize, define, describe, discuss, evaluate, explain, illustrate, interpret, list, outline, prepare, recommend, relate, state, and summarize. All of these are going to be very different, and we are going to cover everything in our regular lectures. How do you need to refer to different answers? How do you need to respond to different answers? So do we solve questions in our regular batches? Yes, my dear friends, I have a particular question bank that I am going to offer you. I am going to offer you hard copy of summary notes, handwritten summary note, exactly in this way. Okay, handwritten summary notes, and then I am also going to offer you the hard copy of the question bank also. Okay, so this is going to be very important for you. Okay, and I have named it very appropriately, so you are going to love it. Now let's discuss about the batch details. But before that, if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Yes. Yes, if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Then we will be moving further to the batch details. Okay, and you should attend this batch details, because what happens is we have inculcated a lot of discussion here. Okay, and I'll tell you one thing, that whenever we discuss about these batch details, you should understand everything, because I'm going to give you in writing what I'm going to offer. I'm going to give you everything in detail. So before enrolling for the batch, it is your right to discuss about every particular offering that I have, and to learn about each one of them. Okay, so if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer it. But just in case, if you have any questions till now, please feel free to let me know on the chat box. Then I would be happy to move forward to the batch details. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay, so I am assuming there are no questions as of now. Okay, just in case, if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know anytime. Now the batch details. So AAA batch is divided into two parts. Okay, concept lectures and question practice sessions. The concept lectures are going to be in the recorded mode. These concept lectures are going to be in the recorded mode. Okay, fully recorded mode in English language, along with IFRS brush up lectures that would be provided to you as a complimentary thing from us. Okay, now question practice sessions. These question practice sessions are going to be live. Okay, again in English mode. When it is going to be organized, so every Saturday and Sunday, timings are going to be 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Okay, and we are going to revise and solve every particular important concept, and we are going to solve the questions for each one of them. So in this question practice sessions, I am going to revise all the concepts that we are going to solve the questions for, and then I am going to solve the questions particularly for each chapter. And to help you more with this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to offer you the hard copy of the question banks, hard copy of the handwritten summary notes also. Okay, along with soft copies also that I would be uploading, but I will also be providing you the hard copy of it. Okay, now if you want to see those hard copies, please feel free to comment on this video. I would be happy to share the hard copy with you. I would be happy to show you in another video that how do our book looks like. Okay, now question and doubt support. So it is going to be during the live sessions as well as on the app. Can you ask any questions during the app? Yes, you can ask any questions during the live sessions as well as on the app also. In every lecture there is an option of asking the questions, and I will be happy to answer it for you. Mock test, so there are going to be 6 mock tests. Are these going to be with evaluation? Yes. 3 unit tests and 3 full syllabus tests would be there, along with evaluation as well. Okay, along with evaluation. Who will do the evaluation? You or your team? I will personally be doing the evaluation. what will you get? So you will get hard copy of handwritten summary notes, hard copy of question bank, and class board notes in soft copy. Okay, class board notes in soft copy, that is going to be very, very important. What is the duration? The duration is, the start date is 14th of December 2025, end date is mid of February 2026, duration is 90 hours approx. Okay, how much is going to be live? So roughly 50% is going to be live, 40 to 45 hours are going to be live, and rest 40 to 45 hours of concepts are going to be recorded. Validity, 3 months validity would be there, and extension might be provided on request. With this, we have completed the entire discussion of our AAA subject. Now let's have a quick discussion on who should select AAA as their optional paper. Okay, who should select AAA as their optional paper? Let's discuss a little bit on that. Who should select AAA as an optional paper? See, my dear friends, it is never like one subject is better than another. It is definitely not like that. Okay, what choice do you have? You have APM, you have AFM, you have ATX, and you have AAA, right? Now I'll not say that any particular subject is better than the other one. Okay, but what I would like to understand from all of you is what is your purpose of doing ACCA? What is your purpose of doing ACCA? Is your purpose going into the industry, PSUs, or any of the governmental organization as a cost accountant, as a corporate finance personnel? Then you should go for APM. Okay, in my opinion. Okay, so I'll write it: corporate finance, FP&A. Okay, then you should go for APM. If I talk about core finance, say, I won't say investment banking because that might require CFA. Okay, but if you want to go into some part, some work of the valuation game, then you can go for AFM. If you want to be part of the outsourcing network from outsourcing work, then you should go for ATX, because a lot of outsourcing work is done from ATX. But my friends, if you want to go into the statutory domains, statutory audit domains, statutory audits, internal audits, or if you want to go into the risk advisory, then you should definitely select AAA. And my dear friends, I would like to tell you that this is one particular subject which gives you a lot of options, because if you go to the ACC careers and you look for the jobs, majorly you are going to see the AAA jobs or the audit and assurance related jobs. Now what happens is, if you don't select AAA as your optional paper, then you might not be eligible to apply for those jobs. And therefore I would request that if your option, or if your vision is to work in the assurance sector, audit sector, or work in the big fours, I would request you that you should select this AAA as your optional paper, so that you have your base solid and you do not need to study after you qualify as an ACCA. Then you do not need to study the auditing standards, because all of those assurance jobs might be reserved for people who have knowledge of the assurance domain, who have knowledge of the ISS and related standards. Okay, so with this I would like to close this session. Just in case if you have any doubt, I am here for another minute. Please feel free to ask any questions that you have. Okay, but I would like to tell you one thing over here, that whenever you prepare for any of the paper, okay, any of the paper, what you should target is that you should always try to prepare from the right source. You should always have summary notes, you should always have the question bank, and you should always have a teacher who has actually worked it out. So my friends, I have worked at EY India and KPMG Bahrain. I have worked with Indian auditing standards, I have worked with international auditing standards. I have particularly discovered a lot of auditing techniques. How do you need to remember it, how do you need to write it, what could be the different meanings if you write in different senses. And therefore I would like to tell you one thing, that I would be the right faculty for your AA, AAA and law subjects. So if you want to enroll for my batches, please feel free to reach out to me on any of the given sources which is mentioned in the description, and I would love to discuss with you more on this. Okay, so thank you so much. See along with me. Got it for